All right, so Ryan, tell me about what we're looking at right here.
Yeah. So,
Ooh.
so we started making our own pots.
Okay.
Just drilling them, just to give a little bit more airflow and
Okay.
drainage, and making them a little bit shorter. We've been playing around with just different methods of making pots, and yeah, I mean, it's really just been an experiment. All of this is really, really new.
Within the last
year.
Wow.
So we had very few anthuriums. It wasn't something Steve ever had an interest
Well,
in.
you said it was 3 species,
Yeah.
right? So it was, what were the 3?
Polycyclum, Gracil, and Scandens. And
Wow.
Gracil and Scandens aren't on this table, but I still have them in the building.
So, okay, so earlier we showed you those seedlings that weren't supposed to exist. So who was the pollen donor? Was it Veitchii or was it Polystichum?
Yeah, it was Veitchii.
So Veitchii pollen. Ooh, I know the plant's limits, please. on this Polystichum. So like the possibilities. So good.
Yeah, so all of the tags you see hanging are crosses that they've made.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So the flowers have been pollinated by something else.
Nice.
If it's been pollinated with it itself, or it's a cross pollination, they tag them and date them so that we can get a production timeline. And
Oh, wow. So what was this?
Zara crossed with Michelle.
A dock block hybrid. That is beautiful. And he's really about the abaxial side too. So abaxial is back, but so you see the veins, the red veining. Because he's what? He's a cardiologist, I believe, right? Anesthesiologist, yeah. So he really likes the vascular look of his anthurium. So I mean, he is amazing. He's an amazing grower.
I like the vascular. That's a good word.
I would agree with that.
all right, I learned a new word today. 2 new words.
Ooh, is this miniature?
It's a species
The
from
species
Mexico.
that is a miniature species.
Sorry, no one heard it.
No, it's fine.
Whoa.
Now we
Yeah, look how little they.
crosses
Yeah.
where he shrunk stuff down using that plant. I'll show you all the different crosses.
Wow.
I mean, they get tiny, tiny, tiny.
Do you don't sell these, do you?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, not this size pot. These will be split up, but
It's a very slow growth.
Wow.
It's from Enid.
Oh,
The initial one
is this
was.
bloom open? Yeah, look at the pollen on this, Zach. So this is a Adelonema, so it's an aeroid. What was it? Crinipes?
Yeah.
Is the species. And so look at this inflow here with the speckling.
Tucked up in there.
Yep. And look at that pollen. So good. Wow. And you see the spines on the petioles. What a cool plant. Look at these leaves. So pretty. And they're soft.
They're done by division, and they hate it.
Yeah?
They throw the biggest fit. I mean, the stock plant looks like it's gonna die.
At all stages.
Everything
At all
looks like it's
stages,
gonna die,
it looks
and then
like it's
it
not
loses
gonna make
most
it.
of its leaves.
Huh.
I mean, it freaks out.
Wow.
Literally throws a little temperature.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wait, so is that same Piper that was over there, or is this
That's
the crocatum?
Yeah.
This
or
is
Natum or
or
crocatum.
okay.
I don't know. They started calling it crocatum. I don't know if they're different or not. It looks the
Ooh,
same.
and I don't know either. Yes, that's Laginella. Does it start with a W?
Giant.
Oh, Seismoria?
Giant.
What?
Yeah.
How interesting. Okay, because Selaginella technically would be fern allies, right?
Yeah.
Like club mosses, which means that they have microphyls, not megaphylls, which means that each leaf only has one vein, which technically means that they shouldn't be able to have a vascular system that allows them to transport water upwards. So the fact that this plant does do that, again, makes no sense. Like, makes no sense, because evolutionarily, like, that plant is not supposed to be able to do that.
And I believe Mary Sizemore, I believe that's who found it.
Okay.
she's got a begonia named after her as well.
Right.
She did a lot of collecting overseas. So.
Wow. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Now, have you tried propagating that?
Yeah.
Division, or you just put on
cuttings.
And spag them?
Yeah. I think we've actually done it in regular heat.
Really?
mix. Yeah.
Huh.
I've got some over there. I'll show you.
Nice.
I don't know if I've
Oh.
Yeah, I definitely. They're the more correct.
That's
color
their Bassier
over
right
there.
there.
That's cool.
Or gray.
That is wild.
That's their Bassier.
On the top of it?
How's that?
Yeah, we need the other.
It's in a
Look with the hairs. Trichomes.
Yeah. Okay.
Super drought tolerant.
Pictures somewhere that I sent to Adriana. Test
Oh
that.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
I was
awesome.
just helping look for this.
And we'll show you those stock plants when we get over to the other ones.
Polensis.
I love the hairy.
So funny thing is, it's not a rhizomatous begonia.
Okay.
It does not grow from leaf. It grows from a stem.
The
cutting.
rhizome.
It's not a rhizome though. It's a stem.
Wait, it's right.
Huh.
So when
Tuber?
we were growing these things, and somebody was like, "Where's the? Anybody seen Polensis?" And there was like weeks and weeks of Polensis that somebody had done, and they were just sitting in
Here's-
soil. So they're done
Wow.
from chunks, but it's not technically a rhizome.
Because
Right.
it has leaves on both sides. Is that what
Yeah.
the? Yeah.
So right. So rhizomes are a type of stem. It's a modified stem that is more creeping and usually is below the soil, right at soil line, but below the soil. Whereas if this is, you're saying, a true stem, it would be different in that it wouldn't naturally grow in that way. That's kind of horizontal creeping.
Okay.
And it's going to be more kind of like, I guess, an in-between of a cane and like a rhizome. That's really interesting.
Right.
So yeah, you grow them from chunks,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
they're very,
awesome.
very slow
Yeah,
too. I'll show
we
you
get
the
our
stalk.
stock plants,
have to
massive,
get 'em
and then we
huge.
just have to cut all.
Yep.
You have to cut all the foliage.
And now,
off
do you
to-
let them callus? Did you let the
He plants them right away.
Really?
Yeah, Don
Okay.
does all of these for us.
with rooting hormone?
Nope.
Just stick them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a master propagator right there. That he believes and knows that what he does works, and he just does it.
Yeah, and we don't use rooting hormone on any of our plants.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, we do.
You heard it here.
Neither
You know.
do I, Brad.
I know.
Yeah.
No, but that's not to say we've tried a few different plants to see if it would help, speed up the process or
The
whatever.
really,
but-
really difficult things.
And all of our begonia stock plants are hanging in 10-inch baskets as well. We do one row a week is propagated.
Okay.
So every week she has 50 or 60 different begonias that she propagates.
And what is an average batch? Of a single
Anywhere from
species?
depending species, we normally do in the square pots, like the 3.5-inch squares, and that's 32. So we'll
Okay.
do 32, and then on these we do 20s.
We usually
This time of year or winter we do new halves, half flats,
During the
just
summer, yeah, we do full unless it's something that doesn't sell great, and then we usually do half flats and stuff like that.
I think that's a question.
So yet to be named Begonia Milano Bullata cross with Quai. And even this.
This person knows a little bit more.
leaf. Oh, wow. I mean, talk about a Harrier plant.
I would like to.
And there are reasons we went to Friends.
Maybe I'm a purist, but I love species. I really love species.
Yeah.
Because species are so variable in and of themselves, and
Yeah,
Mother Nature
I'm
made
on
them. There was
inventory.
no man-made intervention. So to be able to get all these crazy cool adaptations that literally was just created by nature is so cool and should be appreciated. And so this thing is, yeah,
Facebook inbox.
very, very interesting.
So that you have it all.
And you've got a cross on it.
Yeah.
Somebody's pollinated it with something.
Yep.
We use that. It's better than what it used to be.
Scapagera.
Scapagera.
One or the other.
Yeah, it would be awesome if you could get like.
Right, these are the tags you gotta start doing
I know.
on yours.
Yeah, that is smart.
Have that many.
And then what are you writing? Is it just marker?
We do
Pencil.
Pencil, okay.
Yeah.
Which will fade,
Neither
but
are we.
they're not going to be up there
But-
long enough to fade
Right.
out, you know.
They do. Yeah, I like to.
And I mean, as far as
sounds, and
begonia
then
losses,
next week or
I mean, we have. I
Yeah.
mean, you can see.
It's hype.
This
Right,
was
it-
made with 32 of them,
swear.
and out of this batch, we got,
Or they've already
or
been
they've
sold.
already
Right,
been
right.
sold. But
Like
I
if
mean,
you have
even
any
so,
long production,
I mean, you can see that
filming
just the
something
different.
and edit it like
It's not a
I-
it's not a
and
cookie
with
cutter.
Instagram,
Even with Don,
I have
or
tracks, like
you know,
I plan my week
someone
and
with
TikTok,
his
you just can't do that.
expertise
You have to just
propagating
walk up,
it,
not have any idea what you're filming.
doesn't always work. You know, mishead could be
It's
off,
kind of fun.
and you know,
Yeah,
hopefully-
yeah, exactly.
It's totally
That's the
different.
thing.
Yeah.
When you have
But
so
yeah,
many
it's-
plants,
it's a-
if
it's
one
a
tiny
lot
bit
of-
is off, even just for
hold this
half a
on
day or
machine.
one
Yeah,
day,
Yeah,
you know,
and
it
we have things
can
that
cause
we're like, this is
damage.
gonna do great.
You can't be too hard on yourself
and
as the
then we post
grower
a Vichy
to
I
miss
post,
something, you
Right.
know, now
and
and
Right.
it's off.
So
Yeah.
when you guys
Yeah.
get those TCs in,
Got
they
a new
have to want
rocks
to
to
miss
the
just
floor,
like their
it's like the
propagated
#1 video
plants,
on
or
YouTube.
you guys
So
just do that?
all of our benches have mist irrigation on them,
Uh-huh.
so that's just how we water.
Okay.
basically. So even though
So you don't have a person manually.
only to go on the end caps because they dry out quicker because
Mm-hmm.
they're closer to the sides,
Mhm.
or if
Brooks is a lot of hand watering just because of the active airflow. That changes a lot of it.
I also think that you're hand watering because of what the algae that was in
No, I'm hand watering because of the airflow.
Oh, okay.
So it's drying. Your plants
It's
are drying
drying a
out quicker.
specific, if this is the edge of the bench and the fan, the left side of the fan, whatever that volume
Okay.
goes to this much of the bench,
Right.
just gets way more airflow the whole way down. So even
That
if
thing's
you
got some
missed it,
airflow in it.
oh my gosh, it does.
I was telling them, it's like you turn those fans on and things went.
Yeah, no.
That blows my mind.
You know what we need to get, Zach? We need to get one of those like wind speed things, like the hurricane people
Yes.
get.
That would make a good TikTok.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's one that was pollinated that.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
So interesting with that margin coloration, and again a species. See, so
Orange flowers.
Ah, love it.
But these I don't want to propagate, and they're about that big.
Okay.
I've got 3 more plots like that.
Okay.
That's hilarious. Hunter just messaged me like 20 minutes ago, my greenhouse team leader, and was like, "Sotaro's gold. We don't have like any more. Like, did we stop producing this?" And I was like, "No. Like, we need more." And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna chop them up right now." So like, look at that. That's crazy. Who is it? Dark Mama with Ace of Spades. Oh wow, stunning. And so these are seeds you produced?
These are actually from a friend of ours.
Okay.
They're not something that I produced.
I don't either.
But does he send them to you as seeds or as seedlings?
Seeds.
Seeds.
I've
okay.
grown them out. So these are.
So germinated in house.
Yeah, germinated in house.
I don't either. We still have a group over there.
Okay.
I
They
don't know
were
why. I don't
potted
know.
up on 114.
Look at the different
Yeah.
textures on this one. The different layers in that leaf.
These are the ones that, like, this one grew a lot better because they're all the same. They were all put in at the
Right.
same time, but so I've just kind of isolated. And then we've taken those are all Forgetti Ace,
Okay.
and we've taken a bunch of them out that
Ooh.
had a lot of color to them.
Yeah, so Forgetti as a anthurium species is really cool just in the shape of the leaf. Usually it's more round, and also the petiole attaches on the back of the leaf base as opposed to some of them are more towards the tip. And so then Ace of Spades is really dark in color. And so this hybrid kind of gives you that best of both worlds appeal. Like, look at this one, where you have that round shape, but you have the darker color, like on that emergent leaf. That is an amazing hybrid.
It is weird. Some, I mean, it's literally about half and half. I mean,
Right.
some have a total closed sinus and some have open.
Right.
So,
Huh. Wait, who is this? This,
Siderasis?
but it's a Geogenanthus?
That's a Siderasis.
But it's
That's the
not a common-
genus?
Yeah.
Siderathus? Oh, wow.
It's still
Siderasis.
Siderasis. Same family.
Huh. Let it be known, a plant that I did not know existed, like at all. I did not know this genus existed. This is a brand new name to me. That's really cool. Siderasis
There's Geogenanthus.
fuscata.
And there's
Right.
a couple, yeah, there's a couple blooming.
Look at it. Adorable. Wow, and so fuzzy. That's awesome. Very interesting. But yeah, so how has propagation been for you guys for these? Because
That's the prop. I've got stock
Okay.
plants over there, but yeah, that plant is difficult.
It is difficult. It is
Slow.
difficult.
I mean, it does not behave anywhere
Mhm.
like any of the rest of the family, pretty
Right.
much.
Well, and then I see things like how costly, just mass put out all the
Ciliata.
Yeah, ciliata, and it's like, well, maybe in your greenhouse conditions you were able to grow these plants beautifully, but there's no way that anyone that bought that plant in a big box store is going to be able to grow that plant. I'm sorry, like, it's a really finicky plant. So it's just, I understand they chose it because it's basically clickbait in real life. You know what I mean? It's like, look at this really pretty plant.
A lot like the cissus discolors, where they look amazing in here, but the second,
And the crazy thing is, we got one in, I guess, 2018 from NSE.
Mm-hmm.
It's been cut on 3 times since December of
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
when we have to propagate them, because you have to rip them out of the pot.
Exactly.
So I did like half of these a couple weeks ago, man. It's like trying to start a lawnmower that doesn't want to be started. It's like the most. I'm like, people are like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cutting on gloriosums. Don't worry about it."
Wow. So many. Yep.
Y'all's pink princess blooms are so pretty.
Yes. Well, I was telling Ryan that I put both maximum and radiatum pollen on it, and it took. So the berries are forming. Well, so that's the thing. It was kind of like a Maury Povich situation, that I just put both pollen on the same inflorescence, and when the berries form and germinate, we'll just have to see who the dad is.
Okay.
Because I only have so many, pink princess inflows in my life that I may be able to do.
That's
So
fair.
I was like, let's just do it at the same time.
As far as you know, for stuff like Pink Princess, Jungle Boogie, if you cross those to each other, are you going to get variegation, or are they just going to come out Jungle Boogie, Arabescens?
As far as I understand it, because all of those hybrids are complex hybrids, there are so many underlying recessive traits that are in there that you could get something either crazy wackadoo or something super boring.
Okay. But it's possible. Okay.
Jungle Boogie is a hybrid of Tortum and Winlandii. And so, which is really, it's really just a spear-shaped leaf.
Okay.
It's not that impressive, but it's been used in a lot of crosses. Like Winlandii is one of the complex parents in Prince of Orange, in Macaulay's, in Imperial Green. A lot of those, because it's like a sturdy, solid leaf. Nothing really crazy about it, and also it seems to be really receptive. And so I think the breeders of the day were just putting everything on it. And so, the Jungle Boogie then gives you that fusion of, instead of super dissected lobes, it's now, a little almost undulation, on the spear. So,
ruffly as opposed to.
But I mean, that's the.
Yeah, we've been curious. It's one of my hybrids.
Is it with that small one?
Mm-hmm.
It is?
Well, that's one of the
miniature one?
grandparents of it.
Okay.
This is Steve Sleeve's Deb's Fireflies, but I had 5 seeds of this germinate. It has a yellow flower parent, but 5 seeds germinated, 1 white flower, 3 cream flowers, 1 yellow flower. And it's a mutation off of, the yellow flower is a mutation, so we didn't think it was going to be a mutant. It wasn't something that was naturally yellow flowered. The one thing that it does do, I'm going to try to cross it back to itself, because the male flowers are tiny, and they're not tiny on the white, the one that, the non-mutant, the flowers are big and white. So we're going to try to cross it back. I think we may try to bring in the dark xanthina and cross it into it and see if we can get them a little bit bigger.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, this was a perfect segue you brought up.
Sure.
So, begonias are either male or female, correct?
Correct. They'll throw out the male flowers first,
okay,
and then the female flowers come after.
So the
that.
plant itself is dioecious in the fact that it does possess both. They just don't flush them out at the same time.
Correct.
Okay.
There are exceptions.
Okay.
Burkillii is one that will only have, like I have Burkillii, the regular one I have is all female, never throws a male flower, and the silver form is, I think, it's vice versa.
Right.
They only produce 1 set.
Okay, interesting.
So they don't know exactly why that is, but yeah, that's all they produce. So, but everything else, if you'll see here, you can all, it's hard to see on this little guy, but just because the seed pods are so small. But so that's a male flower there. The female is the one that has the seed pod below it, and that's where the seeds will form.
With the 3 wings, that's what you're pointing to, right? Okay.
And they look different, like on different begonias have different, sets and stuff that look a little bit different. They're not all exactly the same. So, most of the cane females will hang below, and their males will be a lot higher. I'll show you some of that cool stuff over there.
Oh, so cool. It makes sense evolutionarily, to put them in different places. That's awesome. And so then these here, have these been pollinated?
These have.
These have. Okay, so what will happen is basically these ovaries inside here will swell once they're pollinated, and so inside that, so do they dehisce? Do they break open?
They will if you don't get them in time.
Right.
And that was the thing with this. It's funny you say that, because the reason that one only had 5, because I forgot about it. It was like on the back of one of these benches over here. I forgot, and I came over. They'd already popped and thrown seed, but I had 5, like literally 5 little seeds fell in there, and they all germinated.
Okay.
So yeah, but you've got to catch them just at the right time, and they will pop. And these bags are not. I mean, they will hold a little.
The mesh
but,
is not enough.
It's not enough. They're
the
very fine.
seeds are so fine. It's like it's dust. It's basically dust. That when they dehisce is to open, or split apart is technically what it means. And they split apart, and naturally they would do that because they want to, spread the seeds to then germinate in the wild to various places, because plants can't walk around. And so, like Brian was saying, you have to catch it in time so that instead of them going everywhere all over the bench, you can control where you then germinate and sow those seeds. So,
and it's a tough thing too. It's kind of there's a sweet spot in there, because if you take these too early, and then the seeds they're like a yellow cream color. They're not viable. They're not formed. They'll look like, it looks like cinnamon. It looks like spiced cinnamon. It's real powdery, super small. It's one of the smallest seeds in the world. So.
And so, what is, 2-part question? Is it different for every cross, or is there a set amount of time, like a couple weeks, that after being pollinated?
That's a good question. We just kind of watch them. That's one thing I don't time. We pollinate them, and then we're walking through here checking to make sure. Now, if they don't take, generally they will fall off. They won't hang on there like that. And there's been certain ones, like I'll generally do, if they're there, there might be on a cane, there might be 12 to 15 female flowers there. I don't have enough to put that in a bag, so I'll just do 6 of them, but we might do 6, we might do several different ones on the same pod, and just, rope them off. But yeah, I would think, I'm not exactly sure the full time on it, but yeah, I would assume that it's probably different for different ones, but we really just go whenever they dry up.
And talk about like mastering your craft to be able to just walk by and be like, you're ready. I know you're ready.
But it's nice having this much pollen too. They flower. Some of these only flower certain times of the year, but
even if they're grown in perfect conditions, it's still seasonal.
Yeah, can be. Really, the eyelash begonias, they're about to stop flowering. They won't flower here during the hot months. But they start flowering they opened up, I guess, in February, somewhere around there.
And who is this? Wow, I didn't even notice.
That's that Paulensis, the one that's doesn't grow from leaf.
Oh, okay. Yep. Wow. Look at that. Stunning. Wow. And then that's luxurians?
That's luxurians.
Right? And then where, Thamii is the other one that's similar, right?
It's similar. Luxurians, in the heat of in like Texas summers and stuff, it struggles here. That's why I got it close to the back. We didn't have a very hot summer last year, but it struggles. It's from the Himalayas, and it does not tolerate Texas heat.
You said it was a high altitude, right?
Yeah.
With the digitate shaped leaves, I love it. I love it. So good.